everyone, welcome to this afternoon session on building a digital customer experience platform for financial services in the cloud. Thank you all for joining. We have Bernhard, the Director of IT and Digital Delivery at NewDay, delivering this session. Now, before we begin the session, please can you let me know whether you can hear us by messaging us on the chat box. We will also be recording the session and sharing this after. And if anyone has any questions, please fire them over via the question box and Bernhard will answer them at the end. Now, without further ado, I'll hand over to Bernhard to begin the session. Thanks, Bernhard.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Just starting with the comment, it is my first webinar I'm doing, and I hope so. I hope it will be okay. It feels a little bit strange talking to a computer screen and not seeing the people behind that, but I guess that is how it is nowadays. We'll spend some time talking about what NewDay did over the last 2.5 years, which is what the title says, build a digital customer experience platform in the cloud. I will talk about like why we did it, how we did it, and what we learned from it, and hopefully sharing with you so that you can take your own lessons away. Oops. The whole story starts in 2017, exactly the second half of 2017. NewDay is not an old company, but also not a very new one. It has been around for like 13 years or so, starting with the name SAB Credit. It has a presence in London and in Leeds, the headquarters, and also the engineering part being in London. And NewDay had grown over those years tremendously, from like being a company with 50 people just like 7 years back and 300,000 customers to an organization already in 2017 that had several million customers, almost 1,000 employees. But still, that from an IT engineering and digital perspective, everything that NewDay had was managed service and outsourced. And the company was acquired in 2017 by 2 private equity companies, CDC and Cinven. And from that onwards, a realignment of what we actually wanted to do and what we wanted to be started. And part of that was that we wanted to be really outstanding in digital. And this came from a very, very bold statement. We said we want to be the best digital financial services company in the UK. Obviously, the people who have that as an objective are not what they want to be, and we were definitely not in that place. But we have done a lot since then, and I'm going to share that story with you. But first, let me give you some details about NewDay. NewDay is a consumer credit lender. We are not very well known under the name NewDay, as the NewDay brand itself is not in the market. We are actually now the 2nd largest credit card issuer in the UK. And we issue 2 types of credit cards, some with our own brands, Aqua Fluid being, for example, one of them, Opus, Marbles, or others. But secondly, we issue credit cards under the brand of retailers whom we partner, for example, Amazon or AO. So when you have an Amazon MasterCard, just in case you don't know it, it's actually a NewDay credit card. And from the beginning, what NewDay wanted to do is not just be a consumer lender, like there are so many others out there, but we said our mission is to help customers be better with credit. And that is something that we take very, very seriously. And we have, I will go into that later, something we call manifesto, where it's really at our heart to improve customers' lives. And when we measure our success as an organization, like everybody does, we look at the years over, we look back, how did we do? We obviously look at financial metrics, like what was our profit, but we have metrics in there that actually have to do with, did we improve our customers' life, and did we help them be better with credit? And so, for example, the bonus of every director or executive at NewDay depends on if we have increased our customers' credit score, and which we do in a very positive way. So 2019, we have increased the credit scores of 1.2 million of our customers, and that is very, very much at our heart that we do that. A few just figures and facts about NewDay. So we are around 1,300 people at the moment. We have around 3 billion receivables. We issue around 1.2 million new cards every year, have in total around 5 million customers. We are UK only, so all those numbers are done for the UK. And this is our manifesto that says help people better with credit is central to everything we do. And that is also when we looked at what are we going to do in digital, that was a metric that we also said, how can we transport that into that space? So what have we actually done? I've already said that in 2017, our digital capability was poor, I would say. That means we had what everybody has. We had mobile apps, we had acquisition journeys, servicing websites, so that all our customers obviously could do the basic things online, but not great. Sometimes better than what other competitors had, sometimes worse, roundabout. If you want to use another too negative at average. And everything was outsourced and managed service. Change was slow. It took us often months to get a change online. We had a very high run in change cost. We were lacking on mobile. So all indicators said that actually we are very far away from being the best digital financial services company in the UK. But sorry about that. I'm struggling here a little bit. Okay. So in 2007, we basically had a small web presence. We had like mobile apps on a few brands. They had an average customer rating of, I think, like between 2.5 and 3 stars in the various app stores. But since then, we have built that out to a fully fledged customer service platform that basically does everything we need to do. And this is how we usually show the tremendous growth that was in that platform. We did not, that made it a really bold statement, what we wanted to do. We did not have a single engineer at that point in time. I actually joined NewDay in the second half of 2017 with the objective to build out the engineering team and build out that platform. I will talk about the next 30 minutes, like what we did and how we did it. Just on functionality on the platform, we cover the full life cycle of a consumer credit product, from its inception, so from acquisition to servicing and retiring. We have various ways that customers can approach us digitally. We have for our retail partners even in-store apps on tablets. We have APIs where a retailer like AO or Amazon can utilize the credit journey directly in their e-commerce sites without even seeing anything from NewDay. We have mobile acquisition, we have integration in aggregator websites. So practically everything you can think about how you can apply for a credit card, we offer digitally. We do have one product that we have developed from scratch in those 2.5 years that we call NewPay, which is quite unique in the UK market. when AO, for example, uses it, they call it AO Finance, so it's a white label product that offers a retailer the ability to directly integrate the product in its checkout journey, and in a very smooth way, in just a few minutes, people have credit and they can use it instantly to buy on the website, but it has also a revolving credit facility so that people can spend afterwards also. And AO does, for example, a lot of marketing initiatives based on it, which is quite unique currently in the UK market. Our platform is completely open banking enabled. We have now mobile apps for every brand. I will talk about more on that later. We have last year also started to build out our back and front office operation on that platform. We are just in the process of releasing our own call center application, and with telephone integration. That whole platform sits on a state-of-the-art microservice architecture and is fully cloud native. We have nothing on premise, and everything we do is in the cloud. And on top of it is a technology platform that I will explain, that we call Next Gen platform, which basically assembles this customer experience platform out of 40 to 50 platform services on Microsoft Azure. So it's quite a unique capability that we have built, and we are quite proud of that. And like as I said, using public cloud was a core element of that. I cannot emphasize that point enough. What we have done, I think we would not be able to do that when we would not have been completely in the cloud. And we have a special way of doing that we have, after a significant deliberation with risk, security, and we don't use any infrastructure. So we don't do the usual thing like, we have containers like with Docker or something like that we orchestrate with Kubernetes, which basically is, in my opinion, a different way to run infrastructure. Everything we do is platform, which from a security and risk perspective brings some interesting elements into the mix, because everything is by definition public. Like I said, everything is in the cloud is multi-channel. It's API enabled. We offer every contact point a customer would want to use. As we have several brands ourselves partner with a variety of retailers, multi-tenant and multi-branding is a core feature of the platform, and it's basically a white labeled product that can be super quickly adapted to all kinds of situation and channels and brandings. We can, for example, even online change the branding on a retailer website ourselves if that would be needed, or deploy directly to that retailer. It covers, I have already said, that covers the complete product lifecycle, and it's in a way cost efficient and scalable that has even beaten our own expectations. I can unfortunately not go into numbers here, but we have in 2017 paid more for the managed service on our mobile app and on our servicing website than we pay now for the whole platform on an annual basis. So that has had a tremendous effect on efficiency, scalability, and automation. Sorry for that. That's very tricky. NewDay is a credit card issuer, and you are probably aware that in the business you need to follow a very stringent and regulated way of doing security. There's a thing called Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, or PCI DSS, And as a credit card issuer, we need to have the highest level of PCI certification. The usual way how people achieve that is like that you put your infrastructure or your application into a box, and then you lock the box with firewalls and all kinds of things. We don't have that. As we have assembled the whole platform out of services to PaaS services, that there is no private and public. So we had to find our own way of doing security. We believe it is much better than that old style of locking things up in a box. We were able to convince regulators, our auditors, and our own internal security that that is the case, and we are fully PCI DSS certified with that platform, which, given the nature how it is built, is quite unique. But the reason why we managed to convince everybody that this is the case is, and this is much a testament not to our ability, but to what Microsoft has done with Azure. Because if you look at things like Security Center or Sentinel or Azure Policy or Azure Advisor, this gives you capabilities on control, governance, compliance, and security that are, in my opinion, almost impossible to achieve if you assemble your application out of infrastructure services. Another thing where I would say cloud was very instrumental in us being able to deliver the whole platform in little less than 2 years was and achieve business continuity and disaster resilience was that we could build on capabilities that are in the cloud. So we have complete resilience on various levels. Obviously, component level, everything is redundant and load balance. Anything failing has absolutely no impact on us. We can even survive a complete data center failure through a feature that is called availability zones in Azure, which basically means you run in various data centers in one region, and we even have geographic resilience by being able to run in various regions in Azure. And that is a capability that we continuously test, and we, especially as we have the approach that we have is no downtime. We do have no maintenance windows, and we never turn the platform off. And to prove that, for example, we do some unorthodox things. For example, we deploy several hundred times a month new software on the platform, so several times a day. But we do not allow out of hours deployments. So everybody has to deploy during work hours or peak times, just so we can prove that this actually works and we can literally stay always on. Our availability hovers around almost 100% every month. Just one slide on the key technologies that we are using. Obviously, Azure, we are Microsoft Cognitive Services are part of Azure, obviously, but I've mentioned it specifically because of a lot of our features that we have that have to do with intelligence and automation are based on cognitive services, which is a tremendous capability, in my opinion. That is also not, it cannot be replicated outside of a cloud environment, I would say. When we started, we enjoyed, and that has helped us tremendously in hiring people and getting good talent, in that the advantage that we had no legacy. So we could really think about, like, how would we do things? What kind of technologies are we using? And since then, which is only like 2.5 years, we have developed the attitude that we always want to be cutting edge on technology and always just for the sake of using it, use only newest things. So use Kotlin, Swift or Swift UI on the mobile apps. The whole platform is API enabled, so every feature can be reached through an API. We use open banking as a standard. On the front end, we use Angular, but have now switched to React. That has actually to do with us just wanting to be cutting edge on that side, and the market, and obviously in our opinion goes to React. As we are Azure-based, we use C# as our main programming language. One thing where we do not use Azure is voice, because we do not find it very capable in that area at the moment. So we use Twilio for that, for things like voice bots. Twilio was our tool of choice, and it works very nicely with the rest. So we did for example, a voice bot for balance transfers. That was a development that took like only 2 months to do that based on the platform. What does it look like for our customers and partners? I mentioned when we started, like our App Store ratings on the Google Play Store and on the Apple Store, that were like 2.4 to, I think, best for some brands, and we only had 4 apps out there, like something like 2.8, 2.9. Now we have an average 4.7 to 4.8 star rating on all of our brands. This is something that we are really proud of, because it's really on the upper end where any financial services applications are. And as you can see in the chart, it's not just a one-time thing, but we are at that level constantly, and in concerning Android, even improving. As an organization, we are very keen on measuring success, and so we use for our contact center and for digital Net Promoter Score and Net Easy Score as a key way of understanding how well we are doing. And our Net Easy Score on digital used to be, as you can see, around a little bit above 50, which is definitely not great. It's not super bad, but it demonstrates the attribute average. For those of you who are not familiar with Net Easy Score, it's a system that's similar to Net Promoter Scores. You basically how you determine your Net Easy Score. You systematically query people after they have done something, how easy it was for them to do it. And if you have a Net Easy Score that is around 50, it's like half the people said either like, I didn't find it like really hard, not really easy. It was just, it worked. Or if you have a Net Easy Score below 50, you're absolutely not doing well, because people have a hard time using your stuff. A Net Easy Score of 70 or above is really good, because it basically means the majority of your customers or users say they find it quite easy to get their stuff done with the applications you provide them. And we have immediately, when we started going live with components on the platform, seen a dramatic improvement in those numbers. Where the new digital capabilities that we have developed helped us probably most is on our retail partner side. Like I have mentioned in the beginning, we have roughly 2 business lines. We call them own brands. This is where we issue our own credit cards, mostly for near-prime markets. And co-brands is our our name for it, where we issue co-branded credit cards, like the likes of Amazon, AO, are partners that we have here. And this is a very, very competitive market, but we have the ability to react tremendously quick here. And for example, can pitch to a partner and say, we can have a new web app for you in 1 day. You can have a mobile app, it just takes us 3 days to do it. You can have a branded chat and virtual assistant in less than a week. So that platform has drastically increased our competitiveness in that space. And the whole market has changed. Here, like the co-brand credit card used to be quite simple. It's basically you go to a website, like most of the retailer website, you say you want to apply for, like, I don't know, the Amazon MasterCard or the X card, mostly with the retailer brand. Then like week after or so, you get your credit card in your mailbox and you're kind of good to go. You cannot win in that market with that simple proposition anymore, because what retailers nowadays want is instant credit at the point of sale, which mostly means online point of sale, or sometimes people are still keen on having that capability in store. We have, for example, have an in-store app that enables people to apply credit on the spot, get it, and do the purchase. And that's what a retailer wants. Online, what it means online is you can inject yourself into e-commerce shops. Like when at the checkout, you can choose between, I don't know, you pay with a credit card, you pay with PayPal, or you pay with credit. And then success, obviously, it depends on having a very, very smooth journey, understanding based on data science and credit risk mechanisms, and are you willing to finance that, and making that decision instantly and then supplying the credit. And without having this platform, we would not be able to compete in that space, whereas we now think we are one of the leaders in that market now. How did we do it? I think it's fair to say, and we are really happy with that, we have actually delivered more than we wanted to do, but there are a few key things that we did right in the beginning, and we could say we got lucky, and it enabled us to move really fast. And one of them was that we were very focused on incremental delivery of value and meaningful components. When you remember the first slide I had showed the platform with the boxes, not a single box took longer than 3 to 6 months to implement. And it really means 3 to 6 months from thinking about it to rolling out. So we started developing in August 2017 with a handful of developers whom we had to recruit, because as you might remember, we didn't have any. But we went live with the first part servicing web and mobile in March 2018, so half a year later. And we kept that pace up continuously, enhancing the platform to what it is and what it is now, and added one thing after the other in that short space of time. And we did not do everything right, but that short, for example, we are very conscious that our first mobile app was not really that great, but that the incremental delivery capability enabled us to quickly improve on it and learn from mistakes. And that was really a key lesson that we succeeded in doing. And from the beginning, when we started out, there were two core beliefs that I had, that we said, and those are our key ingredients to success and will enable us to do it. And those why we believe that we need to be excellent in engineering. And secondly, we say we need to have excellence in agile delivery. And excellence in engineering to us means it's like really not only hiring the best people. I think we had a ratio of looking at 100 or 200 CVs before hiring a person, but also building out capabilities with those people, and making our engineers happy is something that we are very, very keen on. That is, for example, one reason why we say is we as a principle, we never want to have legacy technology. And even if there's no other value in renewing our technology stack, we will do that simply because it enables us to hire the best engineers and retain them. The picture you see on the screen is from something, as an example, we did this year in end of January, where we did a hackathon with all of our developers. And we rented practically 2 hotels outside of London with, I think, like 60 people or so for a week, and gave each team, we had 8 of them, a challenge to build some outstanding software, if possible, up to production readiness, and with a goal, like, for example, being famous in loyalty, or improving our omnichannel experience, improve our digital fraud capabilities. That was a risky thing to do, because we kind of, I feel like, well, what if nobody comes up with anything good? Then we sit there and it's just like, wow, that was a waste of time. But it was really outstanding. And if you look at like the names on the screen, like Avengers or We Got This, the Indisputables, those were names that those are names that people gave them. And so and this has to do with like encouraging people to be creative and be innovative. We give every developer, every sprint, we have half-month sprints, half a day off, for something we call innovation time, where we say we are not asking what he's doing at that time, but we believe he will do something, look at a new technology, learn something that moves him forward, and in that way moves us forward. So that over time, we believe it will tremendously increase value for the organization. So we are constantly thinking about how can we improve that? How can we make people think about new things, about innovation, improving things? And we always look at ourselves and say, how do we stack up to other organizations on excellence in engineering? The second thing I said, we said will be, and we strongly believe in that, will be a key success factor is outstanding agile delivery processes, where from the beginning, and this is obviously not something anybody can do, but we had the opportunity to do it because we started with like 0 people in 2017. So we could think very clearly about like, how do we actually want this to be done? How do we have the most efficient delivery processes that we can have? What does success look like on a team level to us? Where we, for example, said we need to keep things simple, and we tell our people we basically care only about 2 things on that level. We care about quality, and we care about incremental value delivery. And we said the rest will flow from that. On quality, we have a 0 defect policy, which we almost really religiously monitor. That means that our definition of done after a sprint is 0 defect. defect-free releasable software. A team is not allowed to start anything new if a defect is still open from a previous sprint. And that has practically enabled us to have, at any point in time over the whole platform, and sometimes we have like 50, 60 people working on it, like 20 to 30 defects. And that means not production defects, but across the project cycle. So this includes defects that are currently in development. And the second thing we said we care about is incremental delivery of value. And that the ultimate proof of that, in our opinion, is, I apologize for I have to do this with the trackpad and this is not very sensitive. The ultimate proof of value delivery, we said, for us is releasing and releasing into production. So we have a weekly scorecard. How are we doing? And every product and every team gets assessed on various metrics. So quality being obviously one of them, but one other is we call release performance. And for a team to become green on that report is they have to release at least once a week into production. The more often, the better. And you might remember, releasing in production for us means that you have to be defect-free and you need to release during work hours. So it's quite a challenge. But we very occasionally have teams that don't measure up to that. A second thing we do is, and you see that in the middle of that screen, is we have adopted some things, not everything, from that Spotify model. For those who are familiar with them, the thing that we have adopted is that health check mechanism, which I really do like. What it basically means is you have a set, and we have almost copied the standard questions Spotify has. I think we have added one and modified one question, something like that. So when we started doing it, we did it monthly, but we now do it quarterly. We go to every team and ask them a series of questions. One of them is actually, are you having fun? Others are like, do you understand what you are what you're doing for the organization? Do you think you provide value? And things like, how easy do you think it is releasing? And there's a very interesting one in there that's called pawn or player, which basically is asking the team is your work structured in a way that other people just tell you what to do, or do you get to choose what you do and how you do it, and how do you feel about that? All those things are accompanied by a strict way of measurements. We really believe in agile delivery, but not in that freewheeling kind. We believe in the kind of agile delivery that is strictly measured, and you know, on an organization level where you're up to, you know where you stand, you know where you want to go for. And so I really think that besides that excellence in engineering that we really aspire to have, the outstanding delivery processes have had an equal contribution to us delivering over what we would actually, over and above what we actually set out that we would deliver. So that brings me to the end of the presentation and what I wanted to talk about, just wrapping things a little bit up to remind you, like, what are the key messages I want you to take away that I think are very instrumental in us being able to do what we did. we would not have been able to do it without going fully cloud native from the beginning. That decision to not to infrastructure but only platform services was also a very instrumental thing, because it you might have heard that saying. At least I hope it's in English also. It does not come from German. Standing on the shoulder of giants. So, for example, the improvement that we have seen in cognitive services on Microsoft only in a year, they were tremendous. The third thing is that I would recommend everybody seriously considers look to be really outstanding on your delivery processes and know what's important to you. Make your people understand what you're up to and measure it religiously, and look at those measurements and talk to people about it and go forward as an organization based on that. And the last thing is incremental delivery of small blocks of value. That's one of the most important things that I think we did right from the beginning. Which brings me to the end of my presentation. I want to thank everybody for listening in. I hope you found it useful. I'm happy to take any questions that you want to have. Also afterwards, if you want to discuss further, I'm happy to, if you want to reach out to me at my email address, or if you're interested in working at NewDay, I'm happy to discuss that too. We're always looking for outstanding engineers who want to work in a fast-paced, innovative financial services company. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bernhard. I know that you also have an announcement about leads that you might want to share with everyone. I don't know if you've got a final slide about it.
I think I got the slides a little bit confused. So the announcement of leads is, as I said, our engineering hub is in London. We do have like our internal IT in Leeds, or a little bit outside of London, Morley, and we are thinking about, or we were actually planning to do it. We have postponed this for a few months due to the situation to open up a second delivery hub in Leeds. And so anybody who would be interested in talking about that, that would be great.
Perfect. So we've got loads of questions coming through. The first one is, what impact has there been on the provisioning availability of new Azure services during COVID-19, given that cloud providers are prioritizing essential government, health, etc. services?
We did not see a direct impact, but an indirect one. And so no services that were disrupted that we had, but we did do some precautionary measures. So everything we do is serverless, and we ramp down and ramp up things as we need them. We have stopped doing that for the last 2 to 3 weeks, because we did not want to run into a situation that when we would want to acquire a resource, we would not get it. So while we have not seen an impact, we have reacted to it proactively to avoid impact.
Perfect. We've also got a question. It seems like it might have been from a friend of yours who's learned quite a lot and is also happy to be part in the initial days of NewPay. They've got a quick question. The strategy looks quite challenging in terms of delivery. How do you encourage people to bring innovation if they are heavily involved in delivery in every cycle?
I think it's obviously hard. But I think the key to it is that as an organization, you are conscious that innovation and the desire to be innovative is ingrained in your processes. And it has management support from the top down. Otherwise, this is obviously very hard to do. And see, when I'm obviously not from the UK. I think I cannot hide that from the way I speak. I'm from Austria, and I actually joined NewDay in 2017 because I felt that the company really wanted that. So I talked to the board members, and they really wanted to get there. And I saw that willingness to invest in it, but also accept that there will be failures and we will learn from them, and then we'll just stand up again and move on. And I think that's very important to have in an organization. And you can set up all kinds of things like what I talked about, innovation, time. If there is no desire and belief in the management to practice that, it's very hard to succeed. And I think NewDay has that desire. Sometimes even to an extent where is that not harmful to just want good technology so much?
Fantastic. We've also got a question here. How do you approach product definition / ownership and requirements gathering?
We have two different types of teams. We call them customer journey teams and foundation teams. And basically, foundation teams build up general capabilities in the platform. That, for example, the technology fundament, that some of that next gen element that is done by those foundation teams, or very generic capabilities. And there, the product ownership is within the digital organization. So it's owned by a technology product owner. But on the customer journey teams, we very much prefer to have a business person who is responsible for the business results of the application to own it and drive it forward. And from around 2/3 of our teams are customer journey teams. So they follow a commercial path, and 1/3 only is on the platform level, where they're driven by building technology capabilities.
Okay, thanks.
Does that answer the question?
I believe so. I've got a couple of people just sending questions about how the recording will be shared. Obviously, we're at a very unusual time, so it will take a couple of hours to download and convert the recording on my home Wi-Fi. So please do bear with us, and everyone will be emailed the link individually. Hope that's helpful. We've also got a question here. Do you see any impact on quality and velocity of delivery by the current lockdown situation? Are you having to adapt your processes in any major way? And this is coming from someone who is coming to work in London, in the London office eventually.
The short answer is no. Which is, we obviously were having the health of our people in mind, very keen to have everybody working from home as soon as possible, which is the case. Our ways of working are centered around teams, and teams being responsible for part of the product. And we actually came from a belief that that co-location is very important. So we have people sitting together. For example, customer journey teams even have a designer with the team. They have like big screens where they can display things. But at the back of it, everything is in digital boards. And very suddenly we had to adapt, like so many other people, obviously, to the situation that people now have to work from home. And basically the company runs on Microsoft Teams. So we have actually, we were a little bit cautious at the beginning. Says, how does this affect productivity? So we were asking people a lot. How is your ways of working? Are you happy? Do you need anything? And the feedback that we get, and also seeing from the measurements and on output quality and other things that we see, is it does not make much of a difference. It's too early to say. I would think, say, does it have a positive impact, because some people are saying that, but that might be personally felt. So the short answer to that is, so people don't sit together anymore. They sit at their homes, but it has not changed much. Although some things are obviously a little bit strange. It's like onboarding, for example, because we still hire people and we onboard people, but we send them their equipment per mail to their home, and then call them up to get them onboarded, and then we on purpose, good or bad, we over communicate from the organizational top down, and so that people feel that sense of community, and not just like a bunch of people that sitting in their homes and working for the same organization. So it has not changed much, I hope so.
Bernhard, we've got a follow-up question, and it's about working from home. Do you think the trends of working from home will remain after lockdown for NewDay?
As an organization, we did have, and this was actually like founder-driven, the strong belief that what makes us succeed and what makes us great is the interaction between different people. So we're very keen that people actually don't work from home, honestly. And we had to completely reorient that. I think we will change afterwards, but this is obviously discussed as even at a board level, like how we do this with converting to a quite flexible ways of working. That like how people want it, but that how that will turn out still remains to be seen, because obviously it depends on like how is our performance really across the organization, not just in the engineering part, with people working from home.
Perfect. I think we'll just take one final question before we end today, and that is, what are you looking for in a developer or engineer when you hire?
Mostly we hire very I don't like junior people up to like people with lots of experience, but there is mostly what we're looking for is the passion to learn and to use technology, the desire to build great things. We obviously have a set of technologies that we look for in people, but and that is not a negative to match our technology stack, but we more so look for the potential that people have and their passion for engineering, because it must match the passion that we have for that on an organizational level.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Bernhard. It's been a really interesting session, and obviously everyone's stuck at home, so it's lovely to be able to have some interaction and to learn from someone with such an insight. Just to absolutely echo, NewDay have got such exciting things going on, you know, opening a new office in Leeds, and I know we're supposed to be at Leeds Digital Festival right now, enjoying ourselves and everything like that, but we really do hope you enjoyed your session, and we'll send the recording out shortly after. As I mentioned, please bear with, it may take a day or two to get it out to you with home Wi-Fi's and things like that, and we'll also send you the link for NewDay's profile and Bernhard's profile, so if you do want to stay in touch, have any further questions, or be the first to know about when the office opens, please do follow what we're doing. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, thank you.